the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just keep it up. Don't be scared. Turning back, I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just keep it up. Don't be scared.
For those of you out there that have hit that like button, I sure say thank you very much.
Welcome everyone to the surprise stream that we're doing during the day here. We label these a little different than our nightly streams, which normally come in about 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes during the week I just like to pop in and do little things. And right now it's election day, we're watching the markets, and I figured this would be a good time to continue our little list to try to weed out some altcoins and find which ones are possibly the strongest ones. The last time that we did this, it's been a few weeks ago. We're going through my list here and we were looking at Caspa. It said that it was at a good level at that time, but on a downtrend. Saw that there was a possibility of a 2x Bitcoin for a longer play, so it's on our radar for possibly a coin that may be a strong player for this market. It's had a good history before, but it's been suffering, right? We probably need to take at some point relook at that. Solana was at mid-level accumulation, but it was on an uptrend, and it seems to be pretty strong. Let's say there's possibility of 2x in your Bitcoin on that one. Ethereum was on a downtrend, so we still got to wait till it finds bottom. Might want to check back on these. It's been a week or two since we checked on these. Rune was a breakout upward, slowly moving. Well, that one kind of went up and down. She's doing okay now. AVAX at a bottom pattern, but still in the downtrend, not confirmed bottom. We may have got that now. Link was a decent oscillator, so it's a good Bitcoin play as an oscillator. Dot, we looked at Polkadot, and then seems like it's a bottomless pit at that time. It was sucking. Still kind of sucks. Arweave. It was at a bottom trend line for a possible upside. It didn't get it. It got further downside. That one looks like it's got some good possibilities to make some gains against Bitcoin, though. So that one's definitely one to look at to find when she does bottom. And on down the list, I've got some others. Now, today, on my list. We'll go ahead and type it up here. ICP, Phantom, Render. We'll take a look at SWE, BNB, and we'll take a look at Near. We'll try to knock those out of the way, those 6 ones, and look at them and make notes on them. And weeding out the ones that seem to be kind of good. It may not be a terrible idea just to quickly run through those other ones. But here's what we got so far, election day on Bitcoin. Now, this is what I've been maintaining, and then what I've been going with is that we are in a very possible break. We did get a breakout. We made some ground. We've been making higher highs and higher lows since we came back from 52,000. I've been looking very strongly at 3.8 Fibonacci areas for strong signs of strong trends upward. We've been getting that, making higher highs and higher lows. We're doing great. We got this trend line here that we've not broken. That's the main one we got to be concerned about. There was a secondary trend line that was starting to form, but you know, those get broken. They do, and when it's not the end of the world when they happen. So there is a chance or a possible retest to come back around 66,000. That's on the table, but also on the table, which seems to be winning out, is the 64% chance of this inverted head and shoulders pattern, this bathroom wall pattern. Some people might see it that way. You see this claimed a lot of times to the upside, but sometimes they're not really putting them at levels of support. They need to be at a level of support to be a reversal, right? So this one qualifies for me. This one has a 64% chance to retest the breakout area. The strange thing about it is it doesn't always just retest it one time. Sometimes she comes back. I still expected this level to hold for support. Ichimoku Cloud supports that theory. Other things on here, golden crosses, other signs on indicators also supporting that, and that's what I've been holding with. That we should get a bounce here. So far, that is holding true. And from here, we should get a higher high. In some time, it will be shaky. We got a lot of things going on in the market right now with elections, and however long it'll take them to figure that out and everything. It's a prime time for manipulation on these markets and with market makers throwing prices up to liquidity areas and down. So it can be heavily volatile. And if you're doing leverage, you want to lighten up your leverage and take it just a little slowly, or else you might get caught up in all that motion. But for altcoins, man, they've been suffering, right? They've taken a hit, a big hit, and it doesn't feel good. However, now look over here. This is what we follow for altcoins mostly. This and others. I got total 3 and others. I like others as well to follow. May even be a better indicator. This is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Others excludes the top 10. We caught support here. So we got a good chance to be coming up here for a retest. Looks like we covered a lot of that ground. A lot of shakiness. We can hold this area. We got a good chance to hold this area range sideways rather than coming down and retesting lower areas right now. So altcoins are showing strength along with Bitcoin, and they will. Bitcoin goes up because Bitcoin will go up as it should go up as Bitcoin dominance continues up, but that's not great for our altcoins. We do suffer. That means Bitcoin's outperforming our altcoins, so they can still go up as Bitcoin goes up. That's what we hope to see, but you know, dollar for dollar, Bitcoin's outshining the majority of it. So there are a few outliers, and that's what we're trying to determine today with this stream. Which are the ones that are strong against Bitcoin, because that will tell us the strongest plays to make in this bull market. Instead of wasting our time with coins that will maybe go up a little bit, but they're still going to lag behind, let's find the strong ones that are going to make us the money. We're here to make money, right? The only way to make money is to get into some strong performers that will actually make our numbers grow. And that's the goal of what we're trying to do through this show and the list that we got right over here. Oh crap, where did it go? Right over here. So let's get into it. And I think we'll just briefly run over the last ones we looked at. First, let's give a shout out to everybody's hanging out here. Let me see if we can get the right chat box over here. Oh, we got 8 people right now. That's cool. That's actually that's pretty good for my little daytime streams. We got Brackett's Adventures. How's it going? Saying FOMO's a bitch, ain't it? It is. It seems okay at the time because you're getting into that winning thing, but when they dump that market, you're like, oh crap, I bought too high. And that dump usually always comes, so it's hard not to FOMO. I mean, it can be hard. Cryptotropics, how's it going, my man? We got Tommy 2 Liters. Road Dog, what's up? Not much, man. I'm just blessed. I'm blessed every day. Brackets of Interest says, folks, I hope you did your God-given right today, which is to vote, and I hope you guys did. I voted early. I voted earlier in the week or last week, and I'm glad to have done that, put my voice in. There are situations, certain situations in America where they try to take that vote away. You have a constitutional right. It is in the Constitution. Even if you've got a felony in your history, you still have that constitutional right to vote. You need to fight for that. I think most of the states have kind of realized that, but hey, it is a state-by-state thing for you guys. But I see a lot of people out there that may have some kind of something on their past, and boy, that's a convenient way for an access that's trying to gain power to have to just make people enemies, put them with that label. Oh, you can't vote. No, you got the right. You got every right to vote, to own firearms, even though they're still trying to figure that one out. It's essential to our Constitution. Essential to our Constitution. Barnum says, hello. How's it going, my man? Brackets Adventures, if you had $100 dry powder, where does it go? If I just had 100 dry powders, honestly, my honest answer on that, probably futures, because that's where you can... Yeah. You would probably want to gamble. I would probably want to gamble with $100. Now, if I'm looking a couple of thousand, I'm going to be a lot more conservative. But if I just got a little bit, my degen's going to come out and try to snatch that and do something crazy with it. That's just an honest answer. So honestly, I'd be looking at futures, probably just Bitcoin though. I'm not big on futures for altcoins because you got too many variables in there. I think it's a much safer play and a much more profitable play. Profitable as much as not getting liquidated or having to go against you is what I mean when you just trade only Bitcoin on futures. But everybody's got their own ideas. There's Joe. Joe just got off his stream. How's it going, my man? He did one earlier today. Yerthan says, what's up, boys? How's it going? All right, so I think we went through our chat. Let's start getting into our list. So first I want to go over, I'm just going to briefly on the daily chart, just go over the last list that we went over. It's a refresher. So like I said, it's been a day. So Caspa, she's still sucking. She still sucks. And I still think that we can hit these low areas. Oh man. Don't want to see it happen. Doesn't have to happen, but the daily is telling me that really about 7.5 cents is on the table. I don't know if my position can hold that because I've got this one on some leverage here. I'm having to safeguard it. Right now she's looking cool with her little bounce up, but I still think she's got a slow burn coming. She's not showing the signs that we need yet. This is it against the dollar. We need to check this. The whole point is to check this against Bitcoin. So we want Bitcoin pairs here. So we see that she's doing terrible against the dollar, but here we go on Bitcoin. How's it doing? Bitcoin had a level out, and that's what we had here. So it's at a good level on the downtrend, and we're still there, and it could come back down here. That's at oh my gosh. Let's go with Satoshis. 100 and man, it could get down to 140 Satoshis. Again, it's been here a couple of times, and it may do that several times. And I hate to say it, man, I got to put it out here. Crap. Well, she goes to 99 Satoshis. Yeah, that could be on the table. If it can hold this level, and there's a chance that it can, or there's a good chance, but it's got to. If not, I'm looking down here at 99 Satoshis. Maybe even down as low as 55 Satoshis, and that sucks. However, if it holds here, we can make our gains, and this is where we're getting our possibility of doing a 2x on Bitcoin if it can, and get back just right up here, and that would be 83% gains, and just up here would be your 2x on your Bitcoin back at 294 Satoshis. We've been there before, right? We were there back in September 8th. So if we can get back to the prices on Caspa that we had September 8th in the Bitcoin pair, that could be your 2x. It's saying 240 is going to be an area of contention there. She's not looking good, but we'll have to watch Caspa. She got all the hype, and now people looking at it like, people starting to turn sideways, and that's natural. So it's really a good play. Starting to doubt Caspa, and if you doubt and capitulate, and then she does take off, well, you just capitulated and lost your area. But if you do believe in this one, you know, there's some good areas to accumulate, especially on spot positions. Leverage on this one would be kind of scary. I do believe in this one, but I just believe that a lot of people have been taking profit, and I believe some manipulators got in there too. Because why not? All right, so Caspa's still looking kind of questionable. Solana. We got to do Bitcoin pairs. This is Solana on the dollar. She's just kind of hanging. Inverted head and shoulder, retesting that area, kind of like Bitcoin. So what we're looking at there. Solana BTC. And we had mild accumulation on an uptrend. I wish I'd put a date on that. And we're still there. We're still there. She's still in a chop zone. This one I think will take off, and it will do good. It's just she's gonna be a minute. She's in either distribution or reaccumulation, depending on how you want to look at that. If she is in some form of reaccumulation, you would expect a spring in Wyckoff. If that theory holds true, she hasn't done that yet, and that could be a lower low coming back down to 0.0018. So we've got to talk about that possibility. If this is a Wyckoff situation, there might be a quick drop down here against the Bitcoin pair, and probably against the regular pair too. So let's keep that idea just on the back burner. Overall, she's looking good, but the way these moving averages are coming up and winding around price, it's either reaccumulation for a greater move up, or it's a form of distribution for a move down. So caution right now, Solana Bitcoin pair. So our next one is Ethereum. Just as a recap, and then we'll start getting into the new coins. 15 people, shout out to you guys. Glad to have you here. Make sure my microphone is on. Speaking of microphones, there was something I just need to do very quickly here. Bear with me just one moment. I gotta adjust a few things so I don't sound quite as muddy, I guess. See if we can open up our sound system there just a little bit. All right, so Ethereum against the dollar. Well, I mean, she's had some areas that she needs to be supported here at 24.30. She's testing our little red moving average here, the Lucy line, after breaking a support area. So will she catch here? Will she go lower? Don't know. We're looking at her. She does look a little concerning at the moment, but there's a good chance that she can hold here about 23.3 if she needs to go down anymore. Now let's check her out against ETH BTC. And she is at an area. I think we looked at this one on last night's stream. And there's just a couple of situations. She's got a good chance to hold here and maybe come down to 0.034 BTC per Ethereum. That might be on the table. I've got some kind of vertical line there and I want to delete it, but now we're still below the non-moving average, so we're still in a strong downtrend for this. So we got to wait until we get a bottom area. And the only thing that we got to help us out right now is this trend line, which basically has one touch here, one little wick here. I went to the extremes on this trend line, and here we are catching it here. If she breaks this one, if she goes below this trend line, this is the extreme. Okay, this is like all the wiggle room I've got for this trend line. Any break below this one, I am looking at her cross-eyed and thinking, what you up to? Because there's something going on, and then we have to consider, crap. We have a possibility of a bear trap could happen. And that's what we were drawing here, where we could come back up and then go back in. Got a possibility of a retest where we just keep going lower and Ethereum just kind of fades out to Bitcoin. I don't think that'll happen. We're looking at some other things here to give us an idea, and it's suggesting that we come back up to these areas at 0.047, 0.048 after we bounce from this bottom. So that's what we're kind of watching for Ethereum. Let's see. The next one on our list, on our little recap, would be Rune. Rune against the dollar. She was pumping up. She did go to 6. Now she dropped all the way back. And I'm going to have to move this little thing out. It's a trade setup, which has not been stopped out. She might be working on it. I think she already hit her profits, though. I can't remember. Anyway, this is a good place where I like to look at entering a place when it's on a trend line. So that's what I got. Be looking at that on the daily. Things look pretty good for here. I think we can bounce off of here. Any break below this, we got to take with caution. Could be looking at 390 again. That's a possibility. That's where I got my stop loss here. Or Rune. Now that's against the dollar. How's Rune going against Bitcoin? She's a dumping. But in the bigger picture of things, she could also come down lower. She could ride this leg. She's already started riding it to the downside anyway. Lower highs here. So we could see a retest back here at 579, 580 Satoshis. Come back and retest these areas just a little high than here before we get some more upside. And then of course we got our 360 moving average hanging out here about 941 Satoshis. Now, if we do that, it's not a bad. If patience and we catch a bid there, and that'd be a 64% gain. So 0.1 Bitcoin can turn into 0.16 Bitcoin, and that's a nice come up. And this is, of course, on a bigger time frame. But so we're looking at areas where, if they're outperforming, right now they're not, but they might start after they bounce off some lower levels. Right now, Bitcoin is stealing the show, and altcoins are still getting a little bit of a hit, especially against Bitcoin. Next one was AVAX, and looking at it against Tether. She's getting a nice little bounce here. This one was getting concerning because she's starting to flirt with breaking some levels, and that's not good. Looks like my little trade setup would have got stopped out. So, you suck, Road Dog, you suck. That trade setup was following this trend line, I believe, or something similar to that. Maybe give it a little wiggle room. Looks like we had our entry right here. I would say that was probably the idea, trying to catch a bounce, which it didn't. She gave it up, retested in the downside, so that would have got us stopped out at, at 10%. That was kind of a big stop loss. For real. I don't usually even try to go for that, especially doing with any kind of leverage, but that one, sadly, did not. But I still like it. And if we were to be just a little bit more cautious, get a shorter term target, I dare say that this was a pretty good one against the dollar. You could still take a bigger stop loss. I would definitely, 7 or 8 would be a safer place. You can still wick below that 800 and stop you out. And I wouldn't doubt that they would want to do that at a bottom area. So this one looks interesting. It could get about a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio if you want to take profits over about $32, and it may take her a while to get there. This would be the first area I would look at for resistance below this trend line, that 200 moving average. That's a 2-to-1, not the greatest trade, but for a first take profit, that's decent. So 25-50% of your bag if you're trying to get a take profit up here. Not bad, not the best trade setup. I'm not going to post that one. Now this one, AVAX against Bitcoin, is what we're really trying to look at right now. Is it a good long-term? Should we hold this one? Is this one going to be a strong coin this market? And there's a possibility we're bouncing here. She did make a little bit of a lower low. That's a sign of weakness right there. And the bigger scope of things, I'm thinking, yeah, this one can do some damage against Bitcoin, and she is at a bottom here, but she could go lower. Remember, the biggest indicator that you got on whether you're here's how the OGs are going to play it. Okay, the OGs are not going to trade their Bitcoin for altcoins because the OGs are saying the Bitcoin's it's going to outperform it. What the OGs are looking for is rejection, and we thought they were hoping. And I was too, until I started seeing the indicators saying, no, man, we want to go past this one. We want to keep on going. I do predict that altcoins are going to take a hit. They're not, very few of them are going to perform well against Bitcoin. The ones that will are possibly at a bottom area right now. We're looking at that idea. And we'll start showing some signs for an upside. But they're going to be few and far between. The majority of your altcoins are going to suffer against the Bitcoin pair. And what the OGs are looking for is a reversal. Now, wherever Bitcoin dominance comes up and gets rejected and starts losing key levels, if there's a true rejection and then we change trend, we're not going on an uptrend. When Bitcoin dominance goes into a downtrend, that's when your altcoin season is going on. That's as simple as I can put it. When Bitcoin dominance is in an uptrend, your altcoins are going to suffer and going to hurt. That's not the bit. That's actually not when you want to be buying them, especially with Bitcoin. If you spend your Bitcoin and play the Bitcoin pairs right now as these altcoins are going up, if you go long on your altcoins on Bitcoin pairs, you're losing. Period. You're losing, except for maybe a few special situations. And that's what we're trying to find. If we can find those, we found strong coins. And those would be the ones that you would want to trade dollar-wise. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make. If we find a Bitcoin pair that is trading strongly against Bitcoin, now I'm not going to say throw your Bitcoin in it because, well, I kind of value Bitcoin. You can, and that would be the basic idea of it. But I suggest playing that as a dollar pair, saving your Bitcoin, and then whenever Bitcoin dominance gets to a level where she wants to just give it up, say she gets up to 66% and decides, oh, that's as far as I can go, I gotta come back for some kind of retest, that's when you're going to see some good money start coming out of them altcoins, and then you're going to be gaining against Bitcoin, and you can actually grow your Bitcoin that way. So that's how I look on how the smartest way to actually play the altcoins right now. Now, how well that is executed in my strategies, I'm trying my damnedest, but it depends a lot on the market and things like that. All right, so Link, we talked about that one also. That one's a good oscillator. This one's probably one of the strongest plays against Bitcoin because she likes to go up and downs in ranges. And if she does that, then that's what people were doing all through here. And I wasn't doing it near enough. I wish I was. But, we're going from $5 to $10. You're doubling. How many times? If you play it right and you have a good range strategy, and this would be the accumulation part, man, I'm telling you, you can really do some damage there. This one's an oscillator, so we're looking for those kind of things, and we should find a new range to oscillate in, right? And currently, Link is down at $10 again, and she likes to go between 10 and 20, or she will up through here. We're kind of in a little bit of a range now. I don't think it'll last nearly as long as this one over here, but it gives you some opportunity. And since August, she's been in this little range between $9 and $12. So a nice little 25-30% range. Good for accumulation and building bags there. Now this is Link against the dollar, Link against Bitcoin. This is the one that really matters. This is the fun one. So if you get into Link with dollars now, look how low she is, lower low. I know it's scary, but she is on the bottom of the trend line. Now in the Bitcoin pair, at Link at $10, let's say you put $100 worth of Bitcoin in. Crap, I can't do it this way. But let's say you put 0.1 Bitcoin in right here when she's at $10, just to make it easy. Now, this was January when she was up here, but let's say we just come back up to this area here. About 0.00036 Bitcoin per Link. Currently, we're sitting at 0.00015. That's 133%. So your 0.1 Bitcoin would turn into 0.23, and that's a nice come up. This is how you play the Bitcoin against or the Bitcoin pairs. This one, Link, is an oscillator. So in time, she will come back to these areas. She just should. I'm confident that she will come back up to these areas. And that means taking a chance on putting some Bitcoin or just buying stablecoin in it. In other words, you put $1,000, buy $1,000 worth, whatever that gets you. When you sell it for Bitcoin up here, it's like you're getting Bitcoin on the cheap. Your $1,000 worth of Bitcoin is worth about $2,000-$3,000. And you bought it with dollars, and now all of a sudden you got 2-3x on that, but you got it in Bitcoin value, which probably the smarter choice, right? So a possible 2x right here, 200% gains. Well, that would technically be your 3x. Your $1,000 would turn into $3,000, or your 0.1 Bitcoin would turn into 0.3 Bitcoin. Pretty cool, Link. That's why people like Link. And it looks like we've got a nice little possible triple bottom going here. I like it. I like this setup a lot. I think this one's at a good spot. Now, can she lose it and come down here? Bitcoin just goes on a big old tear? It can. And that would suck, so that's what we got to watch out for. And I'll be honest with you, the indicators look like it could do that. So I wouldn't rush into this just right now on the Bitcoin pair. I would watch this one and put this on the radar. She's got to confirm this as a bottom. And right now, I'm being honest with you, the indicators don't look like she wants to do it quite just yet. Let's come up to a bigger time frame like the weekly on this one. The weekly against the Bitcoin pair, she's struggling, but maybe we'll keep our eye on her. So it's one to watch. Definitely one that would maybe worth playing. Maybe you want a DC and the dollar pair, it's okay. If you're playing this in the dollar pair, you DCA at $10 or whatever. Maybe she comes down to $9. I hope not coming down to $8, but you get your position. And then when the Bitcoin pair does kick in and she bounces off these bottoms, which she will, then you can start seeing the gains. So the strategy I would be taking with this and what I am doing is buying with dollars, accumulating slowly with dollars, and who knows, maybe she'll come down cheaper. I hope not. I hope she doesn't come down to $8, $9 again. But if it does and I'm buying, and then I can sell out in Bitcoin when I see on this particular chart that we're back up in these areas, boom. Oh, cha-ching! Just added some Bitcoin to my stack on the cheap. So I'm liking, out of all of them we looked at, I like it the best. Now DOT, we looked at it, and against Tether, she's trying to make a double bottom situation here. Hopefully DOT will find her way and start making a comeback against the dollar. We hope. But man, she just, this one has been horrible. But back in March, she gave us a lot of hope and she got right up around $12. Can she do it again to where we're under $4 again now? Same places that we were back this time last year. She gave back all her gains. So important with DOT to make sure you take profits where you're trading this one in dollars or in Bitcoin. Now, this is what it looks like against dollars. It looks like it could be doing a possible double bottom. Good setup. She can go lower. It can happen. Signs are saying we might be showing some nice signs of trying to. Got to give this one. We're on the weekly here. Let's go to the daily. We not got exactly what we need here on the daily, but we're in the falling channel and at the bottom of it. So for your risk takers out there and anybody trying to do kind of position trading, you're buying right now, slowly accumulating. Anybody else is just trying to figure out what she's going to do. Or maybe if you think, oh man, I'll take the chance on this double bottom. I like this area for DOT, but I can't say that she's going to go to the moon, but she can definitely make some good gains against the dollar right now. 23, maybe up to 50%, $100 turned to 150, that kind of idea. DOT against Bitcoin though. Woo. I'm afraid to look. We'll take a look at Binance here. It's just been on a, let's go to the weekly. Just a horrible trend. Lowest that she's ever been against Bitcoin on the Binance chart here anyway. This goes back to September 2020. But at the peak of the market, this is where it was against Bitcoin when DOT, I think, got up to around $50. It was 0.001 Bitcoin. And if you played the long game, let's say you got in at 0.0001 Bitcoin, you 10x'd your Bitcoin. 0.1 Bitcoin could have turned to a whole Bitcoin on that strategy if you played it perfectly, diamond hands, blah, 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 which few people pull off, right? Because emotions get in the way, but the possibility was definite there. 10x on your Bitcoin last cycle. Can't you do it this cycle? Man, they've switched up their narrative and everything. She's lost levels. Quite honestly, we would be looking for her to come back up to retest this area here. Because that should be where the major resistance is coming in, and that's a 2x on Bitcoin right now. We don't know where her bottom is on Bitcoin right now. We have to wait for some confirmations on this one just to be on the safe side. Every time frame I'm looking at, we're below so far the 9 moving average, just on a strong downtrend down against Bitcoin. So DOT, you freaking suck. I'm just saying, you suck. Turn it around, Polkadot, but you're sucking against Bitcoin, just draining. Same thing with Arweave. She's taken a drop against Tether, but she's at a bottoming area. She may come lower on the dollar. Got to keep that in mind. We could be seeing 922. I hope not. Here on the daily, 800, 600, 300, 200, all those moving averages are good. So we might find support here, might regain this area here at 1377. Let's hope that we do. Either way we look at it, we got to keep in mind that we lost a major trend line up here. So if anything, the resistance that we're going to have here at this level, this 50 moving average, this trend line, somewhere around $18 is going to be intense. So for dollar wise, there could be a come up for AR or RW, but I would, at 38% profit, I would look at taking those profits, paying yourself if you're buying here, because she can go sideways and even come down lower to $8 from there. She may, the ideal situation here would see a retest, come up and then come back and either one double bottom here or then come down and then snag this other area. We could see that over the next 2 months out of this. I'm just being real for you. We lost a very critical area here. So that means either a nice little, I mean, there could be a bear trap scenario here, but that would be the most bullish thing. It could happen. Not putting it against it, but we're not seeing that yet. Price would have to come back, break above this trend line, and then she could get a strong move. But just being honest with you, one of these just two scenarios is what I'm looking for R-Wave. Now, R-Wave against Bitcoin apparently is going to be sucking again too. So not our prime candidate. But if I had to read this chart and go along with the other one, that would give us some credence or give us some ideas to support that we may be coming right back down to touch this area for R-Wave on Bitcoin pair. She lost that main thing too. Not time to get on this one, I don't believe. And I believe that you can actually look at the Bitcoin pairs to help you navigate better entries on your dollar pair. I really do, because if you find where the Bitcoin pairs bottom out, you probably found a good entry on the dollar pair. Just throwing that idea out there. So it does look like she can come down even more. Oh man, you on the Bitcoin pair, and that'll reflect on the dollar pair, I'm sure, a bit. Another 34%. You suck, are we? What the hell? They were doing so good, but imagine this. Imagine if you keep your eyes on that and you thought, hey man, this is a good place to get in. And then we come back up to where we were in June, in summer of this year. So it's not impossible. It would made a big, strong move. Everybody loved R-Wave back then, was heading toward $40, $50. You got to make a 5x. 0.1 Bitcoin could turn into half a Bitcoin. And when you consider that Bitcoin may be $75,000 here, that's a pretty good come up. I'm just saying. Now, with that, we recapped the ones that we went over last time, and we still got a little bit more time in the show. Is my clock working? Is it ticking? Somehow I think I should have less than 45 minutes left. All right, so let's get on with the other ones. Let's take a look at ICP. Oh man, I forgot to try something out here. Will this work? See if that did anything. I'm trying to put chapters in, so I hit a chapter button. See what that does. So ICP against Tether. I like ICP. A lot of people didn't used to. It did get a bad shake. Alameda Research kind of tanked the whole crypto market. Definitely did them dirty. But they started out with a really high valuation, something hundreds of dollars, and they really screwed them over. I think the only reason that makes sensible to do that, to screw some project, a promising project over, is because you feel threatened by it. So does Solana feel threatened by this? Because Sam Bankman-Fried, he was behind all of that. He was very supportive of Solana. Did he feel that ICP was just going to give them some competition? I don't know about any of that, but it does seem to have some cool technology. Might be able to do some stuff. They got some real cool uses that could really change the scene if it goes into effect. Whatever, on the daily, we're testing our 800 moving averages. Bigger moving averages look good. We've tested these areas before, can wick below it. You can see we can wick below it, but every time before we bounce back, and this is a good one to look for. Looks like we're trying to do that again now. Last time we did it against ICP, against the dollar, and we went up about 45%. We can definitely do that again. Something along those lines. If you were to ask me what I would be looking for, would be something along the lines of this. We'd like to come up, and then we got a trend line. And we'll probably hit around this 200 moving average, and that'll be about 30% gains. That's kind of the idea that I'm looking for. If I had just to make a call, just looking here without dragging out the Fibonacci's and everything, just eyeballing it, which it would do a lot. You can do that. You don't have to get all technical. 200 crossing the 360 moving average. That's kind of, it's bearish temporarily, but still our momentum is up and to the right. We're more than likely to come and touch that 200 moving average on the daily, sitting around 922. So that's what I got. Without even breaking a fib. Of course, these areas right here, 815, the areas of congestion here. 50 moving average would be a great little target. The 50 and the 100 both right there. If you're looking at moving averages on the daily, and they make great targets on the daily. So that's ICP against the dollar. How's ICP against Bitcoin? Are you a strong one for us? At the moment, you're not. Very few of them are at the moment, to be honest with you. So what we're looking for is areas where she could be bottoming. This one may have some potential. It may. Still moving averages. They're not the most happiest positive people. So this one's going to suffer. All the altcoins are going to suffer against Bitcoin. On this one, I'm going to take a different approach. I am going to use a fib strategy on this one, and that will kind of help us identify some really good target areas, I believe. Oh, snap, you hit the wrong one. There we go. Here, we'll go to this one. That's our last high. And you're getting right smack dab in the middle of it. So we're going to use our 236 strategy on this one. And that's just basically where I'm taking the accumulation zones for every level here. This high to the very low that we got right now. We're going to assume that it's a low. It's not technically confirmed, but it's down over here for a double bottom. We're going to look at it. Also looking at how well these fibs match up. And if they match up really good, then I'll have a little more confidence, or a little bit, a wink wink that, hey man, this might be a bottom. This is a different way that I use fibs. It's not confirmed, but it's, you know, it's a little whisper. It's a little gossip going on right there. From this high down there, oh man, you just nailed it. Nice. Or did you? Support resistance. You're so good at getting support resistance flips. Oh man, it's just awesome. All right, so this is our lower. So we got these little targets right here against Bitcoin. Right? Are we against Bitcoin, or yeah, this is against Bitcoin. 100 or 1,631 satoshis right there. That to me will be a prime target, as well as just a little higher, right up here around 1,769 satoshis. We're currently sitting at just a little over 1,000 satoshis right now, 1,064 satoshis. Next target would be about 10% up from that, be 1,153 satoshis. And we got to get above that level. So for the more conservative trader looking at this against a Bitcoin pair, maybe you wait till we clear that area before you start buying in, either with Bitcoin. I don't recommend that at the point. Bitcoin dominance kind of spells that out. So I don't recommend buying it with actual Bitcoin at the moment, but buying this, you know, once you see this level in the Bitcoin pair, we go over to the dollar pair and see, hey man, if we got something going on here, looks like it's probably got a good buy. We'll look for a setup there on the dollar pair. That's what I'm trying to stress right now on how to use these. And hopefully you guys are picking up on that. And you don't have to necessarily trade Bitcoin on the Bitcoin pair. That's what, so you just watch it and use it as a signal for your other ones. That's what I'm trying to share those ideas right now. Because in my personal opinion, according to Bitcoin dominance, you still want to hold on to that Bitcoin. It's going to outperform. And now if you're clever, and maybe clever, may not be, but you know, you do have strategies. If you do have that reserve of Bitcoin, if your portfolio is like I recommend that you have at least about 50% in Bitcoin, you can take that and then you can use something called spot margin, and you can leverage that Bitcoin safely, more safely than you can otherwise. And then you can grow altcoins. I talk about that in my private streams on this channel with the YouTube membership. I talk about that over there and broken all that stuff down. And that's a strategy I use. It's a longer term strategy, but it can definitely give you some gains when the market's going in your favor on that. And right now, maybe the market's starting to go in our favor. Let's hope so with Bitcoin. But I like this idea that we might be catching there. So I would be watching this one, put this one on the radar. She's starting to look like she wants to do something, but we don't have her confirmations just yet. She is down at a bottom area. I mean, I've got her down. The area we tested was at 1,000 Satoshis. We're at 1,064 right now. This one looks interesting to me, so I want to put, let's just make her notes over here. And let's put the date that we did this. This is 11/5/24. We recapped and then looked at. So ICP. Had nice bottom. With possibility to bounce. Okay. So we could be going up there so that we could get a nice little, what's about a 60% gain. So ICP, I'm liking that one. ICP looks kind of interesting right now to keep our eye on as a strong contender. We'll keep watching it. We'll keep watching it. But I'm seeing some signs there she's worth looking at. Next one we want to look at is Phantom. Then I'm going to come over to the chat and see what you guys are talking about. But we'll just look at briefly at Phantom on spot. Swing high to swing low. Tell me where price is going to go. She could be coming up to 86 cents. Just hasn't quite made it there just yet. I like that idea. She went above the 200 moving average. That was cool. To the 0.5, a little bit above that area. Now she got rejected. And it looks like we're coming back down to retest, or possibly to retest these areas. This is a point we didn't quite make our 618, so technically on this guy, when we don't clear our 618 on our Fibonacci, we technically bring these levels on the table. It doesn't mean that we have to go there. But I mean, that technically is what it says. If we can't get above a 236 area on this pull, we're definitely looking at the possibility of going to these areas. So a 786 retracement could be happening here. Doesn't have to, doesn't have to. We extend this trend line up, we could be catching right here for support at the 0.5. We also got a 100 moving average there, giving us support. I like that. 54 cents could be a nice area. Catch a bounce here. We could be going to the upside. Phantom looking pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Let's take this little channel idea. Yeah. So there's our channel that we're in. Possible bottom of the channel. Start rebounding and coming back up, and then we got 85, maybe even a 94 cent target right here. So I'm liking it. I think this looks interesting on the just on the dollar chart. That looks interesting. Could get a bounce here. We got one wave. We got our two wave. Is already you're canceled out. So now that makes this a whole one wave. That'd be cool. And if we're getting 5 waves up, that's a good start. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Also, you'd look at this if you're looking at this a reversal pattern, head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders there. Remember, they do have a 65% chance to come back for the retest. Looks like that's what we're doing. 51 cents could be on the radar. We haven't quite touched that little guy yet, so I'm going to put you down here at 51-ish. And then we could be on our little merry way. I like what I'm seeing here for FTM. So, Phantom looking good on the dollar. Let's make a note of that. Let's go on USDT. Now let's do Phantom Bitcoin. But we want to find something where we can make some money. Now this one's starting to look nice. Let's see if we got anything here. Phantom against Bitcoin. Let's clear out all that. This is May of 2022 when we were down. Well, it was June of 2022. We're back in the areas we dropped to in June of 2022 against Bitcoin. I think that looks interesting. Come down to this low to that high, and I want to use that as my first starting point, my first touch point. Carry it over here to this other bottom, and now we got a nice little falling wedgie that they have a tendency to break to the upside. Honestly, it is 68%. Some of your gurus just think that 68% applies to every pattern, but it does apply to this one. It does. We got a secondary trend line holding this level right here. She's trying to recover, man, but she is having the moving averages have flipped negative, and it looks like she's got some more downside against Bitcoin here. How far are you coming down to Bitcoin? Where's a good place to buy you on Bitcoin? Maybe here. With the momentum, I see if that's rolling over. We got to see if this is rolling over. The 50 is going to roll over from here, or if it's actually you got your golden cross here on the daily. Poor buy signal. It says buy the next pullback. We are at the next pullback now. So moving averages are saying, along with our Fibonacci, this might be a good place to look at getting it dollar wise. It did look like a good place to get in dollar wise. I'm just saying, this is one of the clues. Hey man, might have something going on here, especially against the dollar, or even against Bitcoin at 788 Satoshis. You might find support here. It's a good level to look for support, but we did lose some key areas now. We did lose a trend line. And it could be coming all the way back down here at 605 Satoshis, so we're not out of the woods yet, okay? Let's look at her. Let's keep this one on our radar. Phantom looks interesting on Bitcoin pair. Let's make the notes of this one. Possibly strong. BC pair. Holding as 618. So far. So, I'm liking it. So out of the list that we looked at for the strongest ones, Solana looked okay. Link, good. I like Link. I like that one. I'll put a little asterisk by the ones I think are good plays to be watching. The strongest plays I see. Link. I'm going to put Phantom as one strong one to be watching. We're a strong contender. And ICP. So far, these are about the three strongest ones. Seems like we're missing one, though. AR might, but we're not there yet. So out of all of them, Casper, Solana, Ethereum, Rune, AVAX, Link.AR, ICP, and FTM. Link, ICP, and FTM seem to be taking the cake from what we can see so far, and as good possibilities. Now, Render will be coming next, but I said I was going to go to the chat before we do that. Let's go check out the chat. Sorry about that, guys. I get caught up in the charts here. What we got going on? We got Joe. There, you're counting it. I had 8 trying different time frames to see if numbers go up. I think I missed some of the conversation here. Kirsten said that's a good suggestion, and there's good volatility with Bitcoin right now. Using 5 to 15x is good. Oh yeah, this will probably be a very interesting. Man, it could be the next 2 weeks being interesting. With the rebound just that we get from the election stuff, because you know they're not going to have all these votes counted. There'll be some state, and then we'll get the contesting, because every election is contested. It's only acceptable if the Democrats do it. When they do it, everybody's like, but when the Republicans contest an election, it becomes like, oh my God, it blows up to some. I'm just being honest. Hillary Clinton contested the 2016 election. She did. And all I've been seeing is all these accusations of Russia putting out videos and Russia doing this, and the FBI's coming out and saying Russia did that. And I'm sorry to say, but FBI, I'm sorry, but you've lied so much about Russia during these elections. I don't believe anything you say about Russia. Sorry. You lost your credibility. You got caught with your pants down too many times. But what you say now doesn't mean jack shit to most of us anymore. And I'm just thinking I'm speaking the truth. We're tired of being pissed on and being told that it's raining. And it looks like you're trying to piss on us right now. You maybe Russia is doing something, but now you cried wolf so many times and we caught you, but don't believe you anymore. 3-letter alphabet soup agencies, where all the bureaucrats hang out. Oh, you globalists hanging out? I'm just saying. It's time to turn the page on you, baby. Turn that page. Matty Go says, I'm waiting till after DXY turns bearish. I think Bitcoin will correct, and then maybe December will be time to buy some dips. There are always good dips in December. We have a tendency to think that, oh man, Q4, number go up, baby. But I'm just saying, man. Looking at my thumbnails, I haven't done it yet. I'll go back over my thumbnails for the past 2 years and see what. And that'll reflect a lot of the sentiment. That helped me out through October. Because we get a bias, and we will have ups and downs. We will have some good moves up. I think we're slowly starting to step up, but steps go up. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 382 Fibonacci. Keep that one. That's what you want to look for. But yeah, there's going to be some good. I think Thanksgiving will probably suck like it usually does for crypto during that week. We're probably, oh crap, why are we coming down? And we usually do. And I think Christmas and the week after Christmas will probably suck, but it'll be interesting. But there will be good too. I don't think this is the time for people to be saying, you need to be all in right now, because I think you still got some opportunities. I really do. Why is all the big dogs dumping on Wall Street? Warren Buffett cashed out $300 billion this year. Because I think he senses a shift is a-coming. And, you know, Warren's got that big money. So one thing you got to keep in mind when they are trading the big money, they got to take things a little slower. So they sell off a little earlier. Keep an eye on what he's doing, though. He got out of banks way early. Before they got into, I think even well before all that drama started a couple years ago. Was it when we crashed, whatever happened over to Silicon Valley, all that stuff. I think he was already out by the time that happened. Drive your 5-0. Do you like Celestia? I used to, but clearly we've seen that the VCs kind of screwed that one up. And they had one of the hugest token unlocks. So, I mean, I like the ecosystem. I love the ecosystem that's on it. It's on the Cosmos ecosystem, the SDK, the underlying technology behind it's based on the Cosmos chain. I like that. I think she can make a. I've got it. I've got some. I've got most of it. I started. You know, I mean, she had the airdrop, and I didn't qualify. I qualified for it, but didn't collect it, so I missed an awesome airdrop. They drive price to $20, and they dump on her asses, and then they do a big ass token unlock. Modular technology, modular blockchain sounds interesting. I think it's got promise, but they screwed up the whole tokenomics. When VCs do this stuff, it's just like we're talking about elections and FBI and all that stuff. We lose faith in them, and we don't have confidence in those coins anymore. And that doesn't help. And all the people that believed in this and everything, that were DCAing, buying the dips or whatever strategy that they were using, and now we're down here at $4, coming down to $3. Man, I mean, and their psychology is, I'm sick of this. I want out as soon as I get in profit. I don't give a crap about this bullshit VC coin that just ripped us off. Could turn out to be a great project. It could. I don't know. But the way that they handled it, they mismanaged it and did not value their base. The people behind did not value their community. They would rather take profits than to build their community, and this is what you get. And then pretty soon the community says, screw you, Tia, I'm going with something else that ain't trying to dump on my ass. But the VCs in it, they don't care. They already got their money. They just wanted to get in, rain down, take their money from the people, thinking this could be it, hyping it up. We're revolutionize the blockchain. They get the narrative going, and then they sell during the narrative when they're enticing you and me to buy that narrative. And there's been a number of them. Did it? Satoshi VM, that was another one that came out. I think that one was a lot of Tia here. Dimension had a great airdrop. I got that airdrop. I still got the majority of it, but I mean, Dimension was another Cosmos project also doing the same thing. So VCs just dumping their asses as soon as the airdrop comes out, and people dump in the airdrop too. That plays into it. But I mean, this one was up at $8 and now it's down at $1.32, man. Glad I didn't buy any. I'm glad it was all just an airdrop. It was a nice airdrop at the time at $8. Gap Filler says $3.33, I think. Tortilla. Is that what we're talking about? I'm on the wrong coin here. Oh, you think it's going back to 330? I've got 380. That's, of course, that's just the swing down. To gauge where she's going to possibly come down to, best I can figure from what I've got here to work with. Let's tighten this up. I think she is at 886 area. Yeah, she's at it right now. Should be, and I think that's why I got this one marked. So I've got about, is it 380? I just pulled you, Fib. Where you at? There you are. I think my actual 886 Fib, which they can, you know, it's not the bottom price. It's a bottom area, but she can wick below it. She got wiggle room and all this. That's I got 410 on that one. So maybe what'd you say? 333. 333 would be right around in this area. Yeah, she can wick down there. That'd be making a lower low. That would suck actually, because since we were here and we made a higher high than here, a higher low. If it makes a lower low than here, that opens us up for these areas down here about 212, 194. I don't want to see that happen. I would have to start looking at lower areas if it did happen. But not out of the question. Any idea of this being an inverted complex head and shoulders or anything like that? That's pretty much bunked right now. Possibly. Usually when you that's usually validated when you lose your shoulders. We can see she can still bounce back and do something. I'm sure somebody, oh look, the head and shoulders did play out. I guess it depends on how you just, yeah, see, you can get so caught up in trying to figure out head and shoulders patterns, but if you just kind of zoom out and go just connect the dots and say, but we're really just in the channel, all that trying to figure out, well, is this the head and shoulders or is this the head, is it a complex, is it, did we break that, is that valid? I don't have to worry about any of all that nonsense if I just zoom out and just draw a trend line, get the angles, and then identify the channel I'm in. I can avoid all that talk. All I need to do now is just look for a partial decline area, a place where we start finding bottoms, and then we can start going up. And we may be doing that right now. You can make this as complicated or as picky as you want to. I find that going is simple, quicker, and more effective, and gives you more insight than trying to just get down into the nitty gritties and everything and chasing the, is this a flag? Because look, man, I mean, how many times have you seen this? A flag to the upside. It does appear that if you zoom out and you identify the channel and you see that that flag is below the channel, seems like most of the time that we're flagging out at resistance, even if we do come back and touch that 21 moving average, they dump. So that's why zooming out is so important. That's why I preach that zooming out is so important, because I'm sure that you've run across many people that are, the first thing they come to is, we got it up, okay. Their first bias is, we're just going to do, we're going to draw a pattern on there that's not even there. You've already got a bias. Oh, it's going to be a flag, and if it's going to be a flag, well, flags break to the upside, right? Well, usually about 57 to 60%, somewhere through there, depending on if it's a flag or a pin. They're close enough. They can, but their measure moves don't always hit, especially if you're got a sequence of flags. You know, one flag here, one flag here, one flag. You're playing the flag idea. Eventually, those measure moves do not hit. They lose their effectiveness. Thomas Bukowski talks about all this. You're expecting your measure move to come up here to 780, and it doesn't even do what you said. And you should have seen that because it had bearish divergence and blah blah. This would have shoulder, head, and shoulder. You know, you start changing your narrative so you don't look stupid. Or I see that happen. And then, oh look, we gave it, and she got it. You see crazy things from the flag chasers, man. Zooming out's your best thing, in my personal opinion. Zooming out just keeps you from going through all that crazy stupidness that you see. Keeps you from getting caught up in all that crazy stupidness that you can see, where the emotions and the lack of experience, lack of zooming out, kind of work against you. And it's okay. I mean, people learning this are going to go through that. But when your teacher, your guru, the person you're paying you to teach you stuff, to spoon feed you stuff that's freely available on Investopedia, for real. First trading group I ever joined, I had to sit through like 25 videos to get the basics in. You know what they did? Went over to Investopedia, read every paragraph, and just briefly talked about it. That was the paid training. And you realize, oh crap, I'm sitting here paying you $600 to take me to Investopedia to do what I could have done myself. And I was like, oh, well, I'd already paid, already seen what this was, but there was still some stuff to learn. There's still guidance there. It was there that I needed at the time. But as far as taking me in and grooming me and making me into this great trader that I was told that was going to happen if I paid $100 a month or $600 a half a year or whatever. No, I had to do that. You have to do. You don't get out of putting the work in. And if you're going to have to put the work in, you might as well have some reliable sources, right? Some tried, tested statistics to feed your head so that you can get the best results. You don't feed ChatGPT false information expecting to get right answers. You want to feed it the most accurate information so you get the most and smartest answers, right? Same thing with your head too. And that's why I preach about Thomas Bukowski. This is not the goal of the stream today. I get on that topic a lot though. See what you guys are talking about. Joe says, very smart strategy. Trading pair outperforming against Bitcoin. Now as Bitcoin is going off. Very smart. It's the OGs. This stuff, now this idea was not coming so much from the trading group that I was in. It was mentioned, but a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about came from Bitcoin Talk thread. For you guys that don't know the history about Bitcoin, this was I think they still have it. This is where it all started. This was where you got your information back in the day. This is exactly what it looked like. Bitcoin, they're still going, aren't they? Oh crap, they are. I've not been here in years. But this is where I learned the OGs would be saying, man, I'm telling you, channels and triangles, that's all you need. And I was like, what about the complex head and shoulders? What about this? And what about that? And I'm like, all these patterns, zooming in, flag chasing and all this other stuff or whatever, those ideas. But I mean, this is where I first found those awesome ideas. There's a wealth of information. If you ever go back to when they were talking back in 2013, 2014 and sharing strategies 2015, you'd be amazed at some of the stuff, the OG wisdom that you get from here. So a lot of the stuff that I still hang on to, some of the ideas I got from here. So I don't think I've ever shared this on the stream, but zoom out, look to the past, you find some answers. Bitcoin forum, man. Oh, that brings some days. Shoot, was I back there? I think I got post on here. I cannot remember because memory goes faulty, but I think I remember a date of me having some post either there or Altcoin. They also have a Altcoin one that deviated from the Bitcoin chat. I think I got some posts going back there 2012 maybe. That would have been me just asking questions or something, because I don't think I actually made my first Bitcoin purchase to 2013 on Coinbase. However, I probably mined some before then. I was doing the mining thing. Why buy it if I could mine it for free? Was my thought. Make a mining machine. There's a game in the whole mining machines too. Sad to say. Gatfielder says shorting Bitcoin pairs would be good if possible. You can short them if your exchange has the Bitcoin pairs. That's the thing. They got away from, back in the day, everything was traded against Bitcoin until we got Ethereum and with stablecoin. And then that started leveling up the games and we got more into the stablecoin pairs because it's easier for us to think about. It was hard back in the day. You trade against Bitcoin. You could see the ideas if you're going to make gains and stuff on the charts. But if you realize I'm trying to figure out how much money am I actually working with here, or how much, that was just like, I don't know. I know I get 0.0005 Bitcoin out of this trade. Is that good? I mean, it's really evolved. It's been kind of wild. Brackets of Interest says, smash the likes. I do appreciate that. I like the way you're thinking right there.
For those of you out there that have been hitting that like button, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so I think we got through the most of the chat here. All right, so I'm going to finish up our list here of coins to look at. Oh crap, we're not even there yet. Okay, we're looking at render next. Render, what are you doing? I believe this might be. Are you 786? I didn't color code you. She might have a place to bounce here. Oh look, it is a 786er. Let's hope that it holds. Moving averages, they're not ready to flip bear and bullish right now. Man, crap. All right, render maybe coming back up, retest this area, come back, either double bottom or maybe go lower. I don't know. She's got some lower areas she could come and retest. It looks like she's getting bullish now, but this area here, 472, that's going to be something to look at. That'd be a retest of our 618 from a low to high pull. If you take that from a swing high to swing low and pretend that we got a bottom going in here, maybe, we're probably looking at a 382. Yeah, right here, 382. And so here's the deal. When we pull our fibs from here, and then you can see the strategy, you know, this would be our accumulation zones, whatever, at this 236 area. And the thing is, if we don't get above there, that's what this is exactly what we got the chance to do, either double bottom or lose that level and then start looking at these other areas, which are down here. Yeah, this is why I got $3.31 right down here, because that could happen. So render looks interesting, but what I'm seeing here on the moving average, just go to a daily. Right, looking at it. Okay, this changes things. Okay, the 4 hour look was kind of suspect, so we come to the daily, and this is the bigger time frames now. The moving averages here I like for good momentum, so I'm liking that. So yeah, some downside, but overall up into this one's I think we can do a good recovery, or has a chance to. Let's check out some trend lines. See, 331 still on the table according to our main trend line. We could be on our way down to test that, so keep that idea open. That would bring this 800 moving average in on the daily. We could be in it that way. Let's check out another trend line from here to there. We lost that sucker, so yeah. If you look at it that way, losing this could be a slow bleed down here on the dollar. But in the bigger scheme of things, it looks like she has a definite possibility to bounce from either here, between here, anywhere through here, and then start recovering. So this one might go through a few weeks of, I don't know, or maybe come up and then retail. We'll keep an eye. Looks promising. I'm not going to say she looks promising. I got to say that. So I want to keep a note over here. USDT pair. Finding bottom. BTC pair. I'm going to make a note. And let's see how it looks on the BTC pair. Render against BTC. Where you at, BTC? Render Bitcoin Binance. That looks good. You suck! She lost the 800. Might see that happen. And look, and these same thing. 800, 600, 300. They look good overall. Now we got the 200 crossing that 300, so that's not great. Not the most beautiful, but still overall, we're still up and to the right. We can recover from this, but it's still a downtrend. I don't think she'll come down and make a lower low because moving averages are looking good on the bigger ones, right? So let's see what we got overall here we're on the Bitcoin chart. Yeah. So she's suggesting a little bit more downside on Bitcoin, which kind of tells me we can probably find some better places to buy it with stablecoin, right? So let's wait on this one. That's let's see, how many we got? Oh, it's 5,640 satoshis. We got eight spots for your satoshis, and so it confuses me sometimes on these charts. They'll put 10 spaces, and then that throws me off. I like to be able to look and see how many satoshis I've got. So 5,600 satoshi. Okay, 5,600 sats. looks good at 786. Tracement. So that would actually be a good spot to maybe put an alarm. I think I'll do that because I'll forget. And I want to put it says check USDT pair. Because I don't like parting with my Bitcoin under any circumstances whatsoever. I do not. I hate it. I honestly don't even like putting it up as collateral over on my spot margin because it puts it in danger. And I've seen some situations where I was like, oh man, I really got a chance to lose the Bitcoin that I was working so hard to collect. I don't want to do that. So I'm very picky about my Bitcoin. I don't like to put it out there. It's too hard. It's too hard. I mean, Michael Saylor can go out and buy thousands and thousands, but it's for me to take 1 Bitcoin to 2 Bitcoin, it takes me a lot of work. A lot of work. But I'm trying to do it. But if we can get good Bitcoin pairs, if we can find Bitcoin on Bitcoin dominance, remember Bitcoin dominance? When she's getting rejected at a level, then it's easier to do it. The reason it's been so hard for me to gain my Bitcoin playing these altcoins is because Bitcoin has been outperforming them. I would have been better to have accumulated more Bitcoin. Next cycle, I'm going to be preaching that hard and heavy. I'm going to be ignoring a lot of altcoins for a long time and talking mostly about Bitcoin just for this reason. Come back to the chat real quick. Hey, we got thumbs. I like thumbs. Grasshopper77 says Theta, please. We can take a look at Theta. Let me mix it up a little bit. I've got, how many more coins have I got? I got, I think, 3 more coins to quickly go over. We just did a render, so. Theta. Theta on the dollars. Oh, she's down at 108 again. Dropping from her 378. That was so sweet. I was taking profits up through here, but it seems like I'm doing okay. Like I'm taking enough profits. I'm saying, okay, we're pretty good. If we go down, I think we're in a good position. I can ride it and sweat and be cool on my position trading, because that's how I work it. I take profits on the way up and then try to buy when we come down to lowers. But you know, I keep getting surprised on these altcoins because when they drop, I'm like, oh crap, maybe I should have took more profits, because my percentage ratios for what I got, I'm like, my risk factors are you know, they always seem to be a little bit more surprising than what I anticipate. Especially if we lose a freaking trend line and don't bounce at an area that looks so hopeful for us to bounce on, because right there it looked promising, hopeful, but we didn't. And usually after you get one of these nice things, and you don't, when you're going through this and you have a bottom here, and maybe it's a rounded bottom, or maybe it's some kind of breakout of a triangle, that you can kind of fit them both into a rounded bottom scenario. A lot of times I'm looking for these two patterns together here. These two triangle patterns happening together. This one would look good. Woo, time to go parabolic right here, breaking out. Woo, do a retest and go higher, flagging out to the upside. And we look at that idea because she's above a trend line, but she gave it back. As soon as she gets back in this pattern, oh crap. And so we're looking at these things with Theta here. We're getting a teaching moment, seeing if we're going through a parabola and those ideas. Oh, it could be on a parabola. But when the parabola is broken, it's over. It is so over. And one of my biggest rules that I have is that when I break a parabola, I'm done. I tried to front run it with some trend lines and everything, but my rule is break a parabola, done, because this is what you see. Sideways and down and sideways. It's over. And then you get to the bigger thing. This turns out to be a what I call a Bart Simpson butt crack, or a butt, because it's not an official term. It's you're doing a harmonic pattern here with the Fibonacci, and it's making a bullish pattern overall according to harmonic theory, which I'm not an expert at, but it will bring it down here for a reaccumulation. So you got a double bottom situation, and this was just the big butt crack. But when you're going through that butt crack, you're not trying to think it's easy to convince yourself, I don't want to take my profits now, man. We're probably still going to go up. This is it. This is the breakout. This is it. Nope. You get another big accumulation that could go on for freaking months. So very important to be taking profits on these butt cracks. On the possible butt crack. I'm just saying. So Theta, we went through the butt crack. Okay, so where would the butt crack ever end? Well, technically, she can come all the way back down, and that sucks. I'm not saying she's coming down to 58 cents, but the moving average are saying, I ain't saying she ain't coming down to 58 cents because they could go for it. Let's see if we got anything. Now, the butt cracks, I mean, seriously, where you bottom out, ideally, you would want to be equal. Sometimes they can go lower. 17 cents, you don't want to hear it right now. I don't want to hear it right now either. That would screw up my position. I've got some of this spot margin. I got leverage on it, so that would screw me up royally too. But I've got to be real with myself that, man, we broke a trend line there. And if I try to cheat, well, I'm not cheating, but if I take it to the extreme, touch here to the wick, if we're not bouncing here, Theta looking rough. 200 crossing the 360, not great. But here on the daily, 600 or 800, 600, the bigger moving averages are in the right order. You got a chance to bounce here. Let's take another fib and see if we got something. That's a 786 retracement here, or an 886 from this pull. 786, we got something good. Okay. So we can start looking, come back to 150 in that area, maybe to 181. It'll take a little while to do that. So my personal opinion that here on Theta, what we got, she's broken the daily 800. They've not flipped bearish yet. It'll be shaky, but coming back up to 120, 128. Very testy area, but from where we are now, it's 20 cents more, right? That's about 20% gain. That looks pretty good. You look at it on the 4-hour time frame, she's regained the 9 moving average. And see, if I was looking at this and I'm drawing out my trend lines and trying to figure things out, and of course I'm always looking for channels because I find that that's just a more accurate way to do things than trying to pretend everything's a flag. It really does. It makes a difference. It was one of the last strategies I incorporated on my journey. Was like, okay, I guess we're going to try the channel thing. Oh shoot, it actually works really good. So I use channels now more than anything else, because before then, with whatever trading group information I had, you know, they were just regurgitating information that they had and maybe throwing and taking some ideas, and maybe they interpreted it wrong. But I developed some bad habits, not respecting trend lines, and when you try to flag everything up to the upside and you don't realize that, hey man, you just broke your trend, man, that flag probably ain't gonna work. Probably, yeah, that's not top. And your 1 minute flag chasers out there, which sometimes they have luck with it, but they don't realize this idea. They don't see that. And I understand why, because they came from the same trading group that I came from, and that just wasn't really spelled out. I've seen it top, but they didn't really tell the real secret about it. Like, really? This is when you need, if they didn't spell out, this is when you really need to think about getting out of a trade or taking profits. This is your sign that something bad, something totally different is going to happen with your trend. And this is honestly one of the last lessons that sunk in my head, because up until then, I would be looking at the local pattern. Oh, look, another flag, or it's this little guy, or it's this little thing. And how many times have you seen people do this? They just draw a little triangle on the end of where we're at, and then to the upside, and then it doesn't, right? Well, the reason it doesn't is because you're at resistance and not noticing it because you're not zooming out. These are the kind of things I talk about a lot. If it gets on your nerves, let me know. But I hope that it's kind of helpful. And I hope it doesn't come across as being preachy or anything like that. I don't want to ever be preachy. Sometimes I get passionate about talking about stuff though. So Theta, personally, I think from what I'm seeing here, this is a good area. My little degen is like, dude, you make sure you're buying some right now, right? You think I'm kidding? Okay, so here's okay. I already got my train of thought. Our trend line here, breakout of here would be the more conservative thing. But now that we got a channel, as long as we know we're in a channel and know our points of resistance, well, yeah, we can use these smaller patterns inside of there. Hell yeah. we're setting up for a possible breakout here. Now the degen in me is saying, oh baby. My degen, honestly, if I'm being honest, I would already be in. Because I would have already got a trigger. I would be, now you got another channel here, more likely to break to the upside after a partial decline, right? Some of you, you can always follow every trend line. And if I'm following one here, a breakout and I get above a 9 moving average, close a candle above a 9 moving average, start a candle on top of a 9 moving average, all of those are triggers. And trigger means pull the trigger, jump the trade. And I would take that trade because I think we got more possibility for upside than downside. And that would be me front running this idea of getting in at 129. It would be me front running this idea of waiting for a trigger above 109. And it would be me trying to get in at 105. That's all for risk tolerance. Some people want to make sure you get above these areas because you don't have to. It can roll over. It can. But I go into this knowing that and expecting that can happen and making a plan, especially if I'm using a stop loss. But I like to do these because this helps me get a better risk to reward ratio. The only reason I'm trying to be a bottom feeder is to increase my risk reward ratio or have a better risk reward ratio. Because there could be a 10, it sounds great if you got in at the 9 and just do with your traditional stop loss settings, go below the last candle that you got on what time frame we're on. And let's say we entered right here when price got above the 9, jumped in, degen, woo, I'm going to do it. Actually, this is not how I would enter. I would actually go to a smaller time frame. I'd get the setup here, like this trend line here, and then I would go down to a smaller time frame, like a 15-minute, maybe probably do it on my 6-minute, to be honest with you, because that's the one I watch most of the time. And then I would find my entry on the smaller time frame to get in. That's just how I do it. But still, setting up a stop losses, I want to formulate my trade on the bigger time frame, like this one. I can watch it play out on the smaller ones and get into the nitty gritty, but my idea comes from this one right here, this one. And if it starts showing me signs that it's going to do something different on this time frame, then probably cut it out. I'm looking for the 9 across that 21 on the 4 hour. When that happens, that's a confirmation. And that could be a trigger to get in. It could be, oh, candles are up there, but we'll just wait till we get across a little confirmation, a little extra confirmation. Okay. And that entry could still be here. I like this one. This is a 3.8 to 1 risk to reward ratio with a 5.6% stop loss. To me, that's cool. $100. If I would have put $100 in this, I would be risking $5 or about $5.68, right? With the possibility to make 21%. But that would give me a risk to reward ratio of 3.8. So that would take that $5.50, multiply it by 3.8. Let's just say by 4. Make about $20, right? Or you can do it the percentage way and say, if I put $100 in here, I can come out with $121. Not bad. Not the greatest thing. It's not going to buy me a Lambo or anything. But it's gains. And they can be compounded, or this could turn into a much bigger trade. Maybe we can keep going on after I take a little bit of profit here and let the rest of it ride. There's all these options there. But I like that. And that's the kind of things I look at for getting into trades. You always got to have you need a trigger. You've got a trade set up, but what's your trigger? And that trigger has to be personal to you on your risk tolerance. And it could be waiting for another level to be completed, or it could be just waiting for price to get past the moving average, like the 9. That's what I do a lot. And waiting for a breakout of a trend, or a combination of any of those. And then that becomes your trigger that you rely on. And, that's your style. That can't be taught. I mean, you can teach it, but it's got to be internalized in your own way that fits with you. And that's what makes it so hard for, people that come into this signals groups and things like that. You got that mentality. Well, I'm going to get in when they say to get in, get out when I'm going to jump in. Why didn't that work out? You suck. You suck. You're a ripoff. Everybody approaches everything from different perspectives, and that's what makes everything so cool. And I don't know. That's rules of thumb, guidelines in trading. That's what you need. You fine tune it to you with the little finesses. And That's the best way I've found to look at this market. All right, so we got Theta. I think Theta could be doing good. I think we could be heading slowly back up to 125, 124. At least 120 area, right? All right, so I did render a SWI's the next one I got on my list. We'll take a SWI. How long have we been going? An hour and 30 minutes. That's kind of long for this. SWI against stablecoin. This is interesting because she's respecting this channel. We took this angle through our channel. Not the most apparent channel out there unless you got this strategy, or unless you're using this strategy, you probably wouldn't look at it as a channel at all. But this becomes our support resistance line. It's a diagonal line. It's not a horizontal. Horizontals are great. They're strong. They're worth looking at. And when you start out, that's one of the first things you learn is draw your horizontals. That's your support. You see a lot of the gurus doing that now. They'll still do that. There's no, I mean, that's you need to do that. As you get used to it, I think you just kind of internalize it. And well, I use my fibs. My fibs usually point these things out for me anyway. I draw my fibs and I look to the left and I look for support and resistance. And sometimes I draw my horizontals. I'm also looking for support resistance, which is what we got here horizontally. It was resistance and now it's been support. A little wishy-washy here, fake out, came back in, and now it's strong support. SWI is actually saying she's got a good chance to keep going up. I've been looking for her to retest 140. It doesn't look like that wants to happen anytime soon. I still think it can. I definitely still think it can. But not today. Maybe not this week. Maybe not this month. Bearish megaphone broke to the downside like it should. Found support. Now we're doing something else, right? Let's get rid of the old stuff. So it won't give us a bias. It's played out. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Told us what it's supposed to do. Now what are we trying to... Now what are we doing? If we're still looking at the channel idea, well, let's just keep the channel idea going. And we're looking at 242 coming. This starts getting into like a little waffle pattern, and I think that's cool. That's an idea worth playing with. And that's where you take your angles. And I swear it looks like a waffle iron. If you start doing some stuff, you gotta... We don't have enough information to really spell it out right now. We'll keep this idea going though. We'll revisit that idea. Zooming out, man, look. Woo, look, a nice double bottom, higher lows. Higher high up here. If, are you? Okay, from this strategy, for what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull a fib. I'm going to look for a 382. So many different ways you can approach this. We approached it with channels and got good stuff, right? Didn't even approach it with the fibs. 382 retracement for a strong move up is what we're looking for. Boom, right there it is. We're in the season now where you will start seeing more retracements only come back to the 382. Those are ones you want to watch. A bounce off of 382 could be a nice little FOMO area. I'm just saying. That 382 area, you might want to let your DJ take a look at it. That's what I'm saying. Because when we start making if we're really going on an uptrend, especially going toward the up only mode, 382s and 236s will be the places that we start targeting. Whereas used to, we were leaning more to the 618 and 786 for the deeper retracements. The sentiment is changing in the market. And I don't think you're... a few of the trading groups, I think, that go over Fibonacci's, I mean, they're going to keep telling you to look at the 618 the whole time. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit different. I'm telling you to look at the 382s from now on. Especially when we're starting to make our higher highs and higher lows, like here. Bounce off of that 382 Fibonacci area that we're at. Did we mark it? Did we mark it? This guy could be taking us right up here to this area, like 313. I'm using my cheat code to get there to that area. And short term, I'm also looking for this little guy. I think this may be our nailed it target here at 282 short term. So we're going to look at that one for SWI. Crap, we're supposed to be doing Bitcoin charts. What are we doing? She looks strong. Now, if she's strong here, Let's go check our Bitcoin chart and see what it says. Does it say that it's at a bottom place? Does this kind of suggest that, hey man, it might be a good time to buy this in dollars? She looks like she could be strong. SWI for BTC. Okay, let's tighten it up. Tighten up my fibs here. She came down to the 0.5. That's Dow theory. When you get a strong impulse move, you just come back to the 50% retracement. Or you get a God candle, they usually come back about halfway. And your market maker people, the people that do Forex and stuff like that, they play a lot with that. All your man, you got so many new styles of trading out here. New ways looking at this market, but they all seem to want to complicate it more so that they can teach it. And if it's more complicated to explain, that means more courses that they can sell to explain it. You can make this as complicated or simple as you want. At some point, if you got to spend 30 minutes to do your analysis on things and go through all these little technical things your system may be getting too complicated. I'm just going to throw those ideas out there. If you can get a system that you're comfortable with where you can kind of glance and do a few little things, give you a pretty good heads up about what's happening, I think you're on a better trajectory. But sometimes you'll see, especially with the market, ICT concepts and all these things that you see out there. I mean, it's interesting information, but if you go back and you look at some of the traditional analysis stuff, you see it's a regurgitation of that, just putting a new spin on it. For real. And that helps them to buy their new houses and new cars and look like geniuses, even though they may not even actually be trading at all. So you got those ideas. That looks like a shitty trend line. Sorry, cuss out loud. So she bounced off a 0.5 Fibonacci, and that's pretty cool. I'm looking for this area possible. That is 4,524 Satoshis per SWI. If we were going to go to our next place, and this would be an AB equals CD move. Boom. Oh, your measure move is good. Don't forget the measure move. We got the Fibonacci's, but sometimes we can tweak her just a little bit. Let's respect that measure move. And that's at 47.65. We'll put that one up there too. We'll put you as blue. So those are the ideas I've got here. Now we got a new trajectory spinning off from here. So she looks like she's respecting it. She could be going parabolic, and we'll be headed up here. These are the areas I'll be looking for some serious rejection against Bitcoin. But against Bitcoin, it looks like, yeah, it's kind of saying if this one's looking good against the Bitcoin pair, the dollar, that one will probably succeed. So 61% gains to possible 72% gains. 0.1 Bitcoin could get you 1.7. Make 3/4 more Bitcoin that way. All right, SWI's looking interesting. She's not got a breakout yet, though. She's not got a breakout. Now you can look at this as a channel, but we only got one touch, so you probably want to go with at least 2 touches, right? Channel idea is still valid. It's just that she didn't respect the bottom, so, and now she's starting to maybe make a rounding parabolic move. Could be. Double bottom, not yet. Well, not confirmed because she didn't come up past it. But this area right here at 37 or 3,800 Satoshis, that's also going to be a little area to watch. Resistance, take profit area if you're trying to do that. We're basically looking, seeing if there's a good setup here on the Bitcoin pair. If this is going to be a strong one to hold, if it's going to gain against Bitcoin. SWI actually looks like it could be gaining against Bitcoin. A possible one to look at there. I'm getting tired. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go through my whole list or not. come over here and make our notes here. Possibly, I'm getting lax on my notes here, possibly. All right, so, I think I'm going to wait for BNB and Near. We'll go back over those and save that for another stream, but I appreciate you guys for hanging out. We did go over quite a few coins today, a recap, just because we haven't done this in about a week or two. So today, earlier, we briefly went back through Caspa, Solana, Ethereum, Rune, AVAX, Link.AR. Link looked to be one of the most promising ones that would actually earn more Bitcoin over time in a way that you could maybe oscillate it and play the ups and downs on it, longing and shorting. She's more of an oscillator. The other ones that look pretty nice, ICP and Phantom, look really good to me as some good long-term holds for to trade against the Bitcoin. So these are more for looking for some of the longer-term plays that will gain against Bitcoin, and those are out of all these. Those are the two most promising ones. Solana, interesting, but we're still looking at that. But definitely Link, ICP, Phantom. Render, I think she's still got some places to go. Sui, we'll put that one on our radar too. That one looks like a good one too. We'll start that one. So today we're just kind of we got 4 that's on a more definite list of strong promising coins, and these should be the ones that really help us make some really solid gains. All right, guys, I will see you tonight on the stream. Tonight we'll be going over altcoins and Bitcoin, the market in general. And if you got altcoin requests or something to look at tonight, bring them, and we'll take a look at those coins too. But trade carefully. Market looks kind of interesting. Bitcoin's coming in at 69,110. Did we go up or down during the stream? We've been still on a downtrend here, so Bitcoin got up to resistance area that we were looking at, to the one we were pointing out for this pattern. A couple of nights ago, I was looking at this possible bump and run, which did not play out. You can't call it as playing out from here. It should have broke out from here and then go up to these areas. We did get up to these areas. This just didn't play out as a bump and run. It played out more as a megaphone, if you want to look at that, or a breakout of a channel. It doesn't matter how you want to look at it. Making higher highs and higher lows is the big thing. And this was the area of resistance that we had, and that was actually the measured move for this pattern here. We got rejected. It looks like we're coming back to retest this little makeshift trend line we got. So in my personal opinion, I think Bitcoin about 68.8 should hold. Even if, I don't know if we're coming back down to 68.8, but I can't see us really going much lower. If we go lower below that, it's something different happening that's not looking good. But if we hold that, and the signs are saying that that's a good move for more upside. So I like that. And I'm curious to see how the election will play out. I'm sure we will have a lot of whipsaw action. Market makers love to do that. The bookmap spoofs and everything going on. You had one influencer relies very heavily on bookmap, calling for 64,000 because bookmap was, but then again, you know, that switched, right? Because that's what they do. They spoof out. And there are some of your gurus out there that are really just taking what bookmap says and then drawing trend lines and measure moves to the bookmap level. I'm just saying. Peep it out. It's not that it's a bad strategy, but let's just call it for what it is. Let's just say, well, I'm really looking at the bookmap target rather than my flagged out measure move. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you again tonight. Go make that money, baby. Let's get that life-changing money. It's coming. It's coming. Don't let them flush you out of the market. That's what they've been trying to do. That is what I've been preaching. This is the time when they want to flush us out. And it can, man, you've seen over the weekend what they did to altcoins, and it made it look like, oh my God, should I just get out of altcoins? They want you to capitulate. You gotta avoid capitulation at this point in the game, in my personal opinion. But find the strong coins that are going to make money. Try to avoid the ones that Bitcoin's going to outperform. At least avoid them now. The best time to get into them is when Bitcoin dominance reaches a top and flip-flops. That is your best time. And I know you may be looking at it and saying, but this coin's $25 higher. It doesn't matter. That's going to prove out to be one of the best times to buy it. or you're going to make your money's going to come quicker at that point instead of having just oh my God, I can't believe it took freaking 2 years for you to get here, for real. And then you sell out there, and then she starts taking off. Those situations is what you'd be looking for. But I bought her $3. Now she's at 25. Y'all shouldn't take profit. Well, you should take profit, but if Bitcoin dominance is starting to get bounced and get rejected, you might be getting ready to head up to 100 right now. You going to sell out right now? So using these ideas, pairing these ideas, your Bitcoin charts against your altcoin and against your stablecoin pairs, they can give you insight on which ones are strong or not, and which ones are a better play. And even as far as, when should I get in and when should I get out when you pair these two things together. Very important, I think. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you tonight. Make that money, baby. Sean, take us out to the end screen, please. Sean? Can't buy good help anywhere, I swear to God.
Come on, come here, bud. Come on. You freaky dog. I don't need to analyze. Every word that comes out is a lie. Make you look like you're so ice.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'll put that on the list for tonight. Was it Citus? I haven't looked at that one in a minute. Hey, I appreciate the comment because I like the more feedback that I get from you guys. I think the more I can tailor this stream to, to share the kind of information that's more helpful. So I do appreciate all that feedback, and I love Fibonacci. Fibonacci's a big game changer for me. Most definitely. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate the feedback. My whole goal is to give information that's going to be helpful for you guys, and not to come on here and act like a know-it-all or sell anything or anything like that. But let's talk about what actually works and get some good strategies. And let's nail this market. Dave P nailed it. Oh, there's a hammer. Cool, Dave. It's awesome. See you guys later.